going to show up for this because I mistakenly said I was doing it on Saturday the 1st. Well, Saturday is not the 1st. Saturday is the 31st. So here I am. If anybody wants to jump on here, I don't really have anything to talk about. Just saying hello, showing my face. What's been going on? I'm visiting a friend right now from deployment, and things are going well. Uh, just trying to get some things squared away at my house and trying to make social visits and stay connected. Went to my men's group on Wednesday, and I'm planning to host the men's group at my house starting in a couple weeks. Um, what else is going on? It's been raining here. Hello, Maria Silva. Good to see you. We got a couple. So I don't really have, like I said, I don't really have anything to talk about, particularly just saying hello. Proof of life. Back from the Middle East, and I've almost, well, a few weeks ago now. This manly life happens. Hi guys, four wheeling. Hello, Torchwood Gal. Shabbat Shalom. It is. It's Shabbat, is it not? Seventh day. Shabbat Shalom to you. We're just hanging out. Hey, Linda Lou. Things are well with me. Thanks for showing up. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up because I gave everybody the wrong day. Well, I gave the wrong date. I gave the right day. Janet, do you say your last name, Jakin? Hi, John. Yes, glad you're back safe. Me too. I got to see my daughters last weekend. It was really nice. They are so tall and they seem so old. Hi, Liz and Kelly. Good afternoon. Good to see you, ladies. Yeah, things are going well here. I'm East Coast right now, and it's been raining here off and on. It rained a lot last night. Jakin, okay, cool. Yeah, things have been good here. It really is so different being back. Um, I compared deployment to almost in the last deployment or two have almost been like summer camps, military themed, and of course we have there's some peril obviously, but not as much overt as in previous deployments. It's just a lot of work. Hi, life happens. Good to see you as well. Thank you, Aaliyah. I look like a celebrity. Well, thank you. You forgot his name conveniently. um, Hi, Leah. Kathy Young. From the north of England. Kathy, jolly good to see you as well. Uh, we have on the East Coast right now what I imagine to be English weather, which is very cloudy. That's how I envision English weather about 70% of the time. I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't really have anything to talk about in particular. I'm just connecting. Um, so if you have any questions or anything like that, Torchwood Gal. Yes, military family never heard of deployments described as military summer camps. Generally, they have not been historically. Most deployments have been anything but that. And if you look back in 2006 in Iraq, you could hardly describe a deployment as a summer camp. In no way would that have been accurate. It was hellish. So it's really uh, bizarre in some ways to experience these last couple deployments, which have been more logistically focused and just stability operations. Sharon, hey, good to see you as well. I'm doing well. I feel healthy. I feel fit. I did get to work out a lot on deployment, and so I view that as a plus. So I feel healthy. Sharon, yep. Runer, hi there. Hi, Martina. Croatia. We were just talking. I was talking about Croatia the other day with somebody, and just how beautiful it is, at least in certain parts. I've never been there. It's on my to-do list. Kelly Stinson, I did get my fridge fixed. It turns out a an appliance repairman from just down the road, very friendly, very prompt, able to have frozen food in my home again. Big improvement. Parents, I don't know Linda Lou. We're still out of touch with parents. That's a little bit beyond me at this point. Um, but anyway, Felicia, perfect timing to take a break from packing up your kitchen to move to Georgia. Where are you moving from? Move to Georgia later this year. It's not far away. Fallen uncle via marriage, a U.S. medic, and Sergeant Christopher Kozlowski, Fort Hood, 86 to 97, military-related cancer took him in 2019. If you'd salute his memory, yes, life happens. Christopher Kozlowski, Fort Hood, um, military-related cancer. I know that the Army doesn't have a fantastic record of uh, protecting its soldiers. In fact, we've used our soldiers in the past for medical experiments, I know. So condolences to you. Life happens. Buchan, love from London. I also have been missing Dr. Dan a lot. He's always on my mind. I was wearing a shirt of his yesterday. It was the Dig Dug shirt, a purple Dig Dug shirt. Always gets compliments, and I always tell him it's from Dan, my brother. Viper, 1390 male. You've flown Blackhawks before. What are your thoughts on the DC collision a few months back? I hate how people are politicizing that. It's just so obvious to me how easy it is um, to get into an accident in a first of all at night under NVGs in a very densely populated terminal area like around Reagan National Airport, uh, where they're kind of intersecting the final course. It's so, it was a check ride and it was a low time pilot, and I just feel so bad about that. I wish people would stop politicizing that. It's not political, and I wish they would just stop and let people grieve, because that's what it is. It was an accident. Accidents happen. Frankly, I'm surprised that more of these types haven't happened before. Very sad, and frankly, it makes me angry as well. And my heart goes out to the families, because there was more than just the pilot in command. There was the check pilot, and there was at least one crew chief, I believe. So at least three families involved, and lots of friends. So Joan Beach, good to see you as well. Um, Emily M., my son is getting out of Marines in a couple of months. Any suggestions on what I can do to help him readjust to civilian life? Emily, the military has a lot of uh, assistance to soldiers and Marines who are and airmen, frankly, who are transitioning from the military. The main thing is you can just they have programs. You should just go through the program and give your honest feedback to whatever he's asking. I think because you have probably a lot of experience that he can draw from. But as far as like the set piece of transition, the military has programs built in that soldiers transitioning out of the military have to go through in order to transition. So good question, Felicia from Pennsylvania, where I was born, to my big brother and his family. Pennsylvania is quite lovely as well, but Georgia, yeah, probably getting warm this time of year, yeah. Life happens. Advise my cousin Chris Cause Jr., a U.S. Army engineer. He recently signed up. Congratulations. I signed up in 2006 at age 31, and I was just going to do 6 years. Here I am, almost 20 years later. You've chosen a good career. It's an honorable career. It's still very well respected for now in the general public, and it is what you make of it. It's not for everybody, but I've been able to be what I would consider to be an entrepreneur within the Army, and it's been a great life for me in many ways. I don't know. Happy to answer your questions, but I'd also love to um, ask any. I don't know. Let's see. You guys are. Yeah, the classic car nut brother was a good guy, and you watched one of his last videos. It's always hard to see clearly. Like I knew he was a good guy, and I knew I was going to miss him, but it does seem so empty. And life is full. Okay, there's so much to do and so much to be grateful for, and yet the people who pass, there's I think those of you who have had this experience, I would agree. Life is rich and full, but there's always, for the people who have passed, especially those closest to us, a hole in our hearts, the size and shape of the ones who passed on, and that's certainly true for me and Dan, Chris Jr., Dad Chris, who died. Gotcha. Hi, Sandy. It's good to see you as well. 6 years ago, 52. Life happens. So young, very young. Jacob and Yaya, Cairo here from Oregon. I've been incorporating Dr. Dan's protocols into my practice of the last year, and it's changed people's lives. Thank you, Dr. Dan. Thank you, John. That's amazing to hear, Jacob and Yaya. Uh, on that note, I've been meaning to do one or maybe two videos about Dan's white paper about the things that he's learned as a Cairo. I have promulgated those ideas within my sphere in the military with some good results, and I've incorporated them plus my own experience into my practice as a PA. And if you're interested, I would be happy to. In fact, I plan to anyway, just in memory of Dan, but also for general information. Do a couple videos on his, at least one video on his white paper about the summary of what he's learned, his philosophy on rehab. Classic Carnet lost a brother also a while back. Not easy, definitely not for sure. Heartaches for your breaking heart with your devastating loss of your brother Dan. Thanks, life happens. Yeah, it's yeah. Time does soften that loss for sure. But there are other times when his memory catches me off guard, and I'm sure that a lot of you can understand. But it's also hopeful for those of you on the cusp of fighting cancer yourselves or loved ones fighting cancer or some other debilitating or terminal disease. It's also hopeful. It's not completely bitter in the aftermath of his loss. It's bittersweet, and it's enriching. And there's a perspective, I think, in his passing that I could never have had while he was here. And so it's not like it's just a complete negative. Life rarely comes with two hands full. I think that's a line from a Shakespeare play. But why does fortune never come with both hands full? But it works in reverse too. It's never a complete negative. Mm, yep, grief isn't linear. It's true. It's absolutely true. So what are you guys up to today? What's going on? Hi, Spirit of the Gorg. What are you guys up to today? What are you? Anything you want to share with the community? Hi, Adore Burks. Nice to see you. This is my first time going live as myself. My only other time to go live was while Dan was still alive. I think that was, or maybe it was just after he passed, maybe. So I did a few there as I was caring for him with my parents down in Austin at his apartment. And then I think I might have done one after he died in July of last year. So this is a new thing. Life happens. You're diagnosed with celiac disease Thursday. Boy, that's a punch in the gut. No pun intended. Celiac. At least you know. I have a friend's daughter who has celiac, and she's managed to adapt. But I'm sure the initial diagnosis is probably pretty overwhelming. Maybe even relieving. I don't know. That's how it tends to be for me. The classic Carnet. See, he converted Christianity towards the end. Can you expand on that? Just finished working out. Yeah, so Dan was always curious. He was raised Christian, in what I consider to be, I don't, anyway, he was raised a Christian and got away from that for most of his life. So he had that as a basis. We went to Christian school together. He knew the Bible pretty well, dating from his childhood, but he didn't really keep up with it after, I would say, mid-teenage years, and got away quite a bit. And, when he died, he was, I think, 56, 55, 56. And, but at the very end, I think he did a lot of thinking. In the last 3 to 5 years of his life were the richest, and he felt most in tune and in touch, and he was more open to anything, everything. And he sort of recapitulated a lot of his memories and just decided that he just decided that it was worth the risk. And you could, I think it's a fair question whether or not you could say, well, is that a real conversion? But he did say, I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. That's about as clear as it gets. And that is very much in line with the thief on the cross conversion at the very end of his life in the book of John, I think it is. And it's very much within the Christian tradition of, God even accepts those who convert late. Like Jesus gave the parable of the vineyard workers, some who worked all day through the heat of the day, and some who got hired on like the last hour of the day, and everybody got paid the same. And so it's very much in line with the Christian tradition and how our view of how God accepts people where they are. And Dan was, many would consider apostate most of his life, but he came back like the prodigal son in some ways. He didn't, I don't have much more to say on it than that. It's always between the believer, the convert, and God. I will not sit in judgment of him or anybody who doubts it. It just is what it is. I'm just here to bear witness to the fact that he said what he said, and he was open at the very end of his life, and we're very hopeful of seeing him again. Lost Lisa Connor. Hey, good to see you. I lost my mom around the time you lost Dan. It's so hard. Yeah, our hearts go out to you, Lisa. Death definitely a part of life, and I've become very aware of my own mortality here in the last year. Any health difficulties as we get older, at least in my case, I always am very in tune with it. I've recommitted myself to not just lifting weights, but also um, cardiovascular fitness. And we can't only stave off death. There's no way to do it, but we can make the last years of our lives count the best way we can. And health is a huge part of that. But, losing one's mom, that's about one of the, mom or dad is one of the most stressful and heartbreaking things. So hard to go out to you. Yeah, life happens. You got diagnosis celiac. Lori Hess, closing patient charts, drinking coffee, and watching you chat. Hey, so what are you doing? This is Saturday. You're charting on Saturday. You're working on Saturday. You must have a real job. Military, we try not to work on the weekends unless we really have to. Most of our clinics are closed, but you're apparently open. Or maybe this is just from the week. You're just tidying up open notes, which I certainly get overwhelmed with sometimes. Drinking coffee is a great tradition. Allison, just thinking about how long it's been since we heard from you. Yes, yes. I'm intermittent, and I need to figure out the priorities here. And I'm glad y'all have stuck with me this long because I know that there's a reason why I inherited you all from Dan. And by the way, you all are free to come and go as you please. Um, my vision is not quite clear for this group, but I'm open to suggestion. And I think that that one of the reasons why I showed up today, Allison, is because I just want to affirm you guys' persistence and just connect with you. That's really it. I don't have any greater purpose in mind. Maria, how are your parents doing? Yeah, somebody else asked the same thing, and I don't know. And the answer is, it's too complicated. I prefer not to get into questions like that here because it's just too complicated. But there's no hearts. I think my heart's open, but the situation is what it is. Spirit of the Gorge, my autistic son participated in an Olympic game themed event organized by his school, and he did great and had lots of fun. Man, that's awesome. Autism is can be so challenging, and that may be too light a word in many cases. So I'm so pleased that he was able to participate in an event and that he did well and had lots of fun. And I think you just got to take wins and positives wherever you can. So congratulations, Spirit of the Lord. That's awesome. Tana Milani, dearest John, wonderful to see you. How are your parents? Yeah, I kind of talked about that a moment ago. Life happens. 47. A woman, former nurse turned therapist and coach. What kind of therapist? Life, like a psychological psychologist or a social worker type therapist. That's awesome. Good job. Life happens. Sandy AW. Autistic son did as well. That's awesome. Classic Carnot. Dan had challenges with alcohol. My brother actually died from that. Originally thought the negative power alcohol can hold on someone. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry to hear your brother died from that. It used to be a death sentence uniformly until 12-step groups came about in the early 20th century. But it's tragic. It's socially acceptable way of being addicted or inebriated or impaired. Yeah, he definitely struggled with that a lot of his life. I think um, he had been a bartender for a while, among other things, and I do think it probably most likely contributed to his cancer. But he, in one of our podcasts that we did together, mentioned that it kind of numbed him from life, and when he stopped drinking, he started experiencing a lot of feelings, and I think those feelings threatened to overwhelm a lot of people who stopped drinking, and so it caused a lot of fear and anxiety, and all that fear and anxiety wells up, and so it can keep a lot of people from making that big step. But I think with enough support, um, people can do it. You recently rethought the negative power alcohol can hold, yeah. I always thought that just dairy intolerant and IBS. So it's celiac. Life happens. Yeah, it's good to know your specific diagnosis because now you can address it. Um, it can be a shock, but I'm sure in some ways a relief as well. Now you can plan. They show you the world through a very different lens. Yeah. Yep. Hi, internet colleagues. Hi. Girls are tweens and early teens, so they're a crucial age, and I'm so excited to go be their dad. I hope to retire next year and go be with them on a more or less regular basis until they leave for college or whatever. That'd be really cool because it's a very crucial time. Maria, hola John, qué alegre verte. Saludos y besos desde España. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's cool that you're calling in or writing in from Spain. That's so cool. And accept your kisses. Uh, Felicia, May has been cold and wet here in PA, only 55, so looking forward to North Georgia. Yeah, they do have 4 seasons. North Georgia is particularly nice, as I recall. That's where the start of the Appalachian Trail is. Some mountains and some forests, really beautiful. 4 seasons, good for you, Felicia. Lisa, I love to hear you laugh. Yeah, I do love to laugh. I think it's a lot of fun. Linda Lou, sitting here, get my pills ready for the month. An elderly chore. Yeah, do you have one of those um, weekly organizers with each pill compartment for each day? None of us escapes that, I'm afraid. Uh, so good on you. And honestly, they become more important as we start to get older because our memory may start to fade as well. So if you look in your Saturday pill container and it's empty, well, you can be reasonably assured that you already took them. Lori Hess, family practice ER doc, crazy busy week full of training. Okay, that makes sense. Playing catch up with charts on that review. Hats off to you, Lori Hess. I've got to brush up on my ER stuff before I transition out of the military because I may well wind up moonlighting myself in an ER or taking an ER job as a PA. So good on you, man. ER is chaotic. It takes a special person to work in the ER, in my opinion. I used to be terrified when I first got into PA school and we did our rotations through the ER. We had a certain number of hours we had to maintain, and it was terrifying to me. And I just decided to just show up regularly and just get all my hours out of the way, and that was helpful. But it's still kind of intimidating because literally anybody can walk through the door. Life happens. Dan did give me his pain to family. It's true. Torchwood Gal, as a non-traditional Jew, I'm taking today to rest, soul surf, as my rabbi calls it, finish up today's Torah portion. It is. It's important. I, I'm reading. I just finished the Bible again. I just read through it, and as soon as I finished Revelation, I go back to Genesis, and of course, chapters 1 and 2 are the creation story, and uh, and it emphasizes the seventh day of rest. And I do think there's something to that, no matter what denomination or what religion a person happens to be. It does seem that at least one day in seven gives that rejuvenation. If you don't take it off, well, you might be able to survive, but I think that people tend to thrive. There's been some kind of research supposedly about that as well, where people are actually more efficient taking one day off a week, which wouldn't surprise me at all, of course, because I already believe that's the mandate. But I hope you're having a good Shabbat today, Torchwood Gal, down in, I think you're in Nashville, if I'm correct. Life happens. Laura, yes, former nurse, yes. Hi, Gloria. Mental health, well-being, and holistic well-being. Good. Life happens. Leanna Frazier, so glad to see you're doing well, John. God bless you. Thank you, Leanna. Likewise. Adora Burks, this is your space. There's always time to figure out what you want to do. Yes. I figure I'm. It's always like I just was thinking about this. I was like, I should probably go live and just at least connect live with some of these folks and just show my face and interact, because it can be kind of sterile. I think life can tend to be pretty sterile and compartmentalized, and I want to break down those barriers and connect. I think that's the story of our modern age is disconnection. We've never had more ability to connect, and yet we've never been more disconnected. So, the classic Carnot. Hi, Tina Helen. Hi, yourself. Hello. The classic Carnot. Be well. You're a good brother. Thanks. I'm sure Dan is proud of you. I appreciate it. He often said he was proud of me, and that was very gratifying. Lisa, how are your parents? I pray for them daily since Dr. Dan's passing. For you too, I appreciate it, Lisa. I talked about that a little bit. I know y'all are concerned about my parents. I don't know if they're still online or not, and we remain estranged for now. But no hard feelings on my part. It's just I believe it's obviously where we are based on who we are, and I just let that to God and try to remain open. Lonnie R. Good afternoon, everyone. Jennifer Baldwin. God bless you, John, and your family. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you. Same to you, Jennifer. BR said hi. Hi, BR. Life happens. Pasta and pastries and cake. I hate all the gluten-free stuff. Yeah, I've tried it. I've tried. There was a time when I thought I might be gluten intolerant myself, if not celiac. I was wrong, gratefully, but I did get tested for all that. And so during the time when I was waiting, I was trying to take out certain foods, and nothing seemed to be working. And I just could not remain committed to it because I just hated the gluten-free stuff. I mean, I grew up eating gluten as a vegan, vegetarian. One of our staples was just gluten mixed with water, breaded, fried, and it tasted good. And gluten's in a lot of vegetarian type things, and so I often say I'm gluten aficionado or gluten. I don't know. I'm gluten tolerant. Uh, so hats off to you. Appalachian. Oh, Beamer. Oh, I see. You're from the area. That's how I know. North Carolina, maybe. Appalachian. You can tell I'm not from there because I call it Appalachian. But those from the area will invariably call it Appalachian. Siempre es un placer saber que tengo un hermano en la fe. Me gusta mucho escucharte. Dios te bendiga. Oh, gracias, señorita Maria, for this. Thank you. Jennifer Baldwin. Second time reading through the Bible. I do learn something more each time I read it, a verse or whatever. I agree. Same for me. It's like they say, it's been said, you step into a river, but you never step into a river. It may be the same place, but it's never the same river. And that's kind of the truth for me as well with reading any book, particularly the Bible, because I carry my particular experiences at that time, plus the accumulated ones from the intervening times since I've read through it in the past. I just read straight through it. Nothing fancy. It might be a chapter, it might be 4 chapters. It's rarely more than 4 chapters at a time. It's more likely one or two. And it has taken me a year, like at least a year, closer to 2 years, the last couple times, and that's fine. So, it definitely, every time I read through it, it's something different. About 5 more minutes here, and I'll try to wrap this up. I gotta move on throughout the day here, but this is really cool. Tana Milani, I'm here in Florida sipping a cup of coffee, watching you as I did Dan. You have a very gentle and calming presence about you. Dan must be so proud of you chatting with us. Thank you. It means a lot, Tana. Um, Dan was a very gentle person himself, in my experience. No offense to my other brothers, he was my favorite. Um, Obviously, it's nothing against my other brothers. I think they would understand. Life happens. Gluten-free foods. Ugh. Tammy Anderson. Hi from New Hampshire. I was just up in New Hampshire. I was Portsmouth. I flew through Portsmouth on the way back from Kuwait, and Portsmouth was a sight for sore eyes with your trees, and it was about 55 degrees, and the people at the airport in Portsmouth were so friendly. It was just a sight for sore eyes. Hope you're doing well up there. Please hit the thumbs up. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't see a thumbs up. Forgive me. Torchwood Gal, yes, around Nashville. If you're ever in Brentwood area on Friday evening, our synagogue is open for you. That's interesting. Okay. Is there only one um, synagogue in Brentwood? Because if so, I wouldn't count me out. Sometimes I sing karaoke down in Nashville. I always say I feel like a rock star every time I go down to Nashville and sing karaoke. Although they closed my karaoke bar down there, which was Wannabes. They closed it, so now I got to find a different one. But it's almost dangerous how much I felt like a rock star down there. But synagogue, that might be cool. Myers Laughing Factory. What does your shirt say? It says created equal. And I got this with my daughters at the Lincoln. It was the theater, Ford Theater in DC years ago. And it remains one of my favorite T-shirts because I believe it. I believe it's one of the foundations for our country. I believe we're all created equal by our Creator. And it also kind of commemorates my trip there with my daughters and my favorite president, who's Abraham Lincoln. His site we visited his across the street where he died as well. There's a museum across the street. I think I follow what you're doing because you seem to be in some kind of transition. I'm wondering what comes next. Best wishes with whatever is going on in your life. That's PS. Thank you. Yeah, transitions are key. I often feel a lot of anxiety in transitions. So if you are interested, it's an inflection point. And life is a series of inflection points, I would say. It's almost strange that there's any stability in life at all when I think about it. And it almost doesn't matter what the transition is, whether I'm traveling somewhere or whether I'm changing jobs or changing locations or living where I'm living, which all these may happen within the next year. Very interesting. And I will keep you posted. That's my commitment to you. Hello from Pittsburgh, PA, Liz. Hi, Liz. Life happens. Thank you for your military service. People thank you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. People thank me a lot for it, and I always just feel a little bit sheepish because the military has given me a lot of opportunities and it's given me a lot of purpose. And believe me, if I have made sacrifices, well, I feel that they have been fairly compensated, perhaps more than fairly compensated. A couple more and I'll wrap it up. Jacob Yaga, I've been spoken with my father in over 10 years. Life is complicated, yes. I believe God is a God of relationships and reconciliation, and yet also truth, and also boundaries. And so I'm with you. Thanks for saying that, Jacob and Yaya. Thank you for saying that. From my perspective, if we keep our hearts open, I think that's the main thing. Lisa, hey John from Blakely, Georgia. Hi, Lisa Connor. BR, hi. Yes, I am still in the military. hoping to retire next year. We'll see. That's the goal. I always say we'll see because I learned that in the military because orders change. So I might have been a little bit more bold 20 years ago and saying, yes, I'm doing this. But we'll see is the new yes, for me. Um, Lonnie, your post on X, appreciate it. It makes me smile to see your devotional life. You know what? Thank you for saying that, Lonnie. I need to get back on X. It's been, um, I've had a lot of transition, and so I've let some things fall. I've made sure that I keep showing up to the things that I have to, in my mind, where I must show up. But I also need to remember that people do need to hear what I have to say. And the same is true for everybody listening to this, by the way. I believe that you all have something to say as well because I don't think we're here for no reason. We're here for a reason, and God gives us all something to say that the world needs to hear, that it's incumbent, like we must deliver it. So, thanks for that reminder. My fab is wheat and gluten and dairy intolerant. Blah. Hi, Maui Swift. Yeah, I see you around a lot. So, hello to you on this Saturday. Portugal gal, parents and adult children, some of the most difficult relationships to navigate in life. Well, good. Well, I have something to look forward to for my own children. Lisa Connor. I'm from all over. I'm a child of the universe. I have some roots in Texas and California and Tennessee and all over. Yes, hi, Michelle Albrechtson. There I am. There you are. All right, a couple more and I'll be on my way. MM93 must win. Hello, John. Good to see you. Hello to you as well. It's good to see you. Lisa Long. Life happens. Dan Proud. John. Even in spirit. Oh, when people show your appreciation. Oh, view hitting the thumbs up. When people show your appreciation. I don't see a thumbs up. I would I don't see a way to thumbs up you, or I absolutely would. If I figure it out, I'll do it next time. How's that? Sing for us, Lisa. That's my last one too. You snuck that one in. Okay, this will be my last one. Maybe I'll just sing the numbers 6, 24, and 26, if that's all right. Now, you didn't specify, so I'll just pick. This is what I still sing my daughters, what I sang Dan, and I think it's a beautiful song. It's the Lord's blessing, in numbers 6, 24, and 26. So I'll sing it, and then I'll go. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. All right, and I'd be tucking my daughters in right about that time. Listen, I realize I'm leaving some of you hanging, but I hope that I've made a connection. I feel like I've made a connection with a lot of you, and maybe we'll just keep doing this. My goal would be maybe, I'm throwing this out here maybe once a month. So maybe the last Saturday of next month, same time, if I can. Okay, I'll try to keep you posted. But let's just plan something that I think I could probably do, which is once a month. And I'll try to keep you posted if things change. But noon Central Time, Saturday, last Saturday of each month will be my goal, and I'll put it on my calendar. Love you guys. Thanks for showing up. It's so good to see you. Thanks for your support and your feedback and your questions. And wherever life finds you, I pray that you find connection and support, healing, and comfort. All right, God bless you. See how I close this thing down. I don't even know how to do this.